The right to a healthy environment is essential for the enjoyment of all other human rights, and this is especially true for children, who are more vulnerable because of contamination or climate change or other kinds of impacts to the right to a healthy environment. I am Astrid Puentes Riaño, the UN Special Rapporteur on the human right to a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment. When we talk about the right to a healthy environment, we talk about clean air, safe climate, healthy ecosystems and biodiversity, healthy and sustainable food, sustainable water, and non-toxic environments to play, live, and work. All of these elements are being impacted today, linked to climate change, biodiversity loss, and toxic pollution. And we also talk about procedural elements when we talk about the right to a healthy environment, including access to information, public participation, and access to justice. When the environment is polluted, especially for children, their lives are impacted. Also the possibilities to study and enjoy their environments. This is one of the main elements that the right to a healthy environment needs to be effectively protected. Because if not, all other rights, including the right to life, health, and all others are directly impacted. The first step in order to protect and guarantee the right to a healthy environment is to expressly recognize it. Today, the right to a healthy environment is recognized in 165 states, and this is the first step to be able to protect this right, that is also recognized regionally and globally by the UN General Assembly since 2022. But of course, recognition is only the first step. It's essential to implement the right to a healthy environment. One key aspect of this is to make sure that the right to a healthy environment is mainstreamed in policies and regulations, to make sure that all economic policies and legislations center the right to a healthy environment, to make sure that everyone, and specifically children, can enjoy right to a healthy environment, including clean air, safe climate, healthy biodiversity and ecosystems, and all the other elements that incorporate the right to a healthy environment. It also helps to effectively control and monitor all business activities that can have an impact on the environment and human rights, specifically on children who are more vulnerable because of their situation. Facing toxic pollution and contamination that is already impacting human rights requires the decision of states to implement and enforce their legislations. And of course, one key aspect to advance and make sure that there is accountability for businesses is prevent environmental impacts in the first place. Preventing, as even the International Court of Justice has said, is the most important step to prevent this contamination, because many of environmental impacts are irreversible. So making sure that states have adequate regulations and control and monitoring is essential. And then the second step is make sure that these regulations are enforced with the human rights at the center. Having and knowing what is the impact of contamination on human rights, specifically on prioritizing children, is fundamental. Making sure that states protect environmental human rights defenders is essential. First of all, is their human right to defend rights and to have a space that is safe to implement their job. But it's also key for states to protect human rights defenders and even for businesses, because people that is in the ground, including children and youth that are concerned to protect the environment, are the ones in many situations who have the information that can help to understand environmental pollution, but also the solutions that can be advanced. Unfortunately, today, we're seeing a closing of civil spaces, and this is impacting not only all human rights, but the right to a healthy environment, including their right to access information, public participation, and access to justice. especially in the global south, environmental defenders are now being object to criminalization and threats, even children. It is very important for states to advance and businesses to help to make sure that environmental human rights defenders, including children, have a safe space to implement their roles. Because at the end, they are protecting their rights, but also rights of present and future generations. Making sure that children can participate in spaces is crucial because, of course, when we talk about the environment, we always are also talking about children's rights, not only of present, but also of future generations. One of the key elements that needs to happen is make sure that spaces for children to participate are adequate to their age, but also considering intersectionalities. This is where are they coming from? There are many examples, and I want to share one. The process for the ICJ, the International Court of Justice Advisory Opinion, was led by youth. There are also many situations where in cities, children are leading for climate action and better air quality, and all of these spaces require safe spaces for children to be able to participate and share their perspectives in order to have their human rights strongly protected.